Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing a video entitled My Firsts. This is not what you think it is, so please don't assume that. I'm not gonna, do anything bad like that, especially since I have not done that. So, you know. But, I've seen tons of YouTubers who have done the tag My First Time. So I thought I would give it a try. I've actually seen it on one of my favorite YouTubers right now. It's probably Zoella. I love her. Her brother, Jenna Marbles, stuff like that. And all that crazy good stuff. And I decided, what better video to do than my first video. So I have my iPad here. It has tons of my firsts on it. Like, I don't know if you can see that, but pretty much I typed up some of my firsts because I'm crap at remembering stuff like this, and I've decided to give you guys a little insight on what my firsts were. Okay, let's see. My first time walking. I was actually a really late walker, just so you guys know, because what my mother would do was she would take a cookie and she would hold it a couple feet away from you, as an incentive to get you to walk, And what would happen is my older sister, who was 2 years older than me at the time, she would walk up to my mom, she would take the cookie out of her hand, and she would walk back and give it to me. So of course I had no reason to walk. So I actually started walking around the time I was 8 or 9 months old, which I guess isn't that late, but it was really late for my family. All my family started walking way earlier than that, and I was behind everybody. The first time I lost a tooth, I was in kindergarten, and I was so excited because, you keep wiggling your tooth because, you're a little kid and it's super cool and it feels so weird, and you're so excited because you know that the tooth fairy is going to come and bring you money, and you're super excited. Well, my sister knew about this. She walks up to her teacher, and she's a grade above me in school. So she walks up to her first grade teacher, and she says, "My baby sister has a loose tooth." And of course what happens is her teacher summons me, and without explaining what she's going to do, she tells me to open my mouth. And I was just like, well, this is weird, but okay. So she takes her hand, she sticks it in my mouth, and yanks down as hard as she can, pulls my tooth straight out, and of course I'm crying because it hurt, and it was super unexpected. But then I got $1, so it was okay. My first friend, once again, it was a kindergarten thing. I was this really chubby kid, through kindergarten and second or third grade. I was super chubby. I had these cheeks that did this. It was super attractive, and I had this short hair that was to here. Yeah, I hated it. Had that haircut most of my life. And I felt super awkward because all these girls were either super skinny or just related to each other, so they were already friends. And I saw this girl, and she was playing make believe over in this the playground had these different areas, and she was in the grassy area because that's where all the girls went to play make believe. And she was playing make believe, and I was just oh my gosh, you like playing make believe? So do I. And then we became best friends, and we were best friends all the way until third grade, so that was awesome. My first crush. My first crush was this kid named Dane. We were both in third grade. He was taller than everybody else in my grade, and I thought that was so cool. I was just oh my gosh, he's so tall. And also he just had this sort of chubby face because we were in third grade, so it's not like he looked like a man, but he was, I just thought he was so handsome. And I remember I would go to my sister because we shared the same room, and I would talk about it, and I was just oh my god, he's so cute. And of course my sister, being my older sister, and older siblings, you know this, younger siblings, you know this sucks. Being my older sister, she walks up to Dane the very next day and tells him, "Did you know my sister is keeping your Kleenexes?" First off, I wasn't. Gross. I have a problem with stuff like that, it's just nasty. But anyways, after that, we never really talked ever again, and we went to school together until 8th grade. So that means at least 5 more years of awkwardness for us. Yeah. Okay, my first time breaking a bone. I broke my nose playing soccer. my freshman year of high school. I was actually helping out my brother's soccer team, and there was this kid, and we were both defenders, and he was a couple feet away from me, and he was trying to like clear the ball out, and he kicks it as hard as he can, and right at the right moment I like turned my head, and it hit me like smack in the face, like it broke my nose. I had like 2 black eyes. It was I just felt so bad for him because he kept apologizing to me. It's like, oh no, it's fine, you're okay. Okay, let's see, my first dance. I went to my first dance in 6th grade. It was actually a super awkward thing. I feel like probably for everybody, but especially for me. So we were all so excited because we were just like, oh my gosh, it's our first dance. This is awesome. We're grown-ups now. We're going to our first dance. And this is what happened, You think dance, you think, dresses, tuxes, whatever. And this is what the kids who went to my school showed up in. Like, the boys were in like t-shirts and jeans and like backwards ball caps, and then there were the girls, and they were just like in these like super tight jeans and these like tank tops, or maybe a skirt if they really felt like they should dress nice. So there was that, and it was just super awkward. And of course, by this stage in my life, I was that kid who read a ridiculous amount, and pretty much all my friends were either the kids who read a lot or the kids I played sports with. So there really was no in between, so there wasn't really anybody I could hang out with just mutually, so it was like awkward for me. And I spent the whole time standing by the snack bar. I wasn't even really eating it. It just felt so weird that I had to go stand over there. Like, I danced maybe twice at that dance. Yeah. Let's see, my first time being publicly humiliated by my parents. I was actually in kindergarten, and I was in this play. I can't remember for the life of me what it was called, but I played a baby dragon in it. And my costume, first off, my costume was awful. It was like this, those brown paper bags that you get when you go shopping, and it just like cut a hole where my head would go, and they shoved it down on my body. And that was pretty much my costume. They like painted it green and like put like paper spikes on the back. That was it. And the only 2 things I ever said in the play, like I repeated it over and over again, was I would walk up to my classmates and say, "Are you my mother? Are you my father?" And it was like super awkward because, these kids were my classmates. Obviously, they weren't my mother or father. It was just weird. By this stage, we didn't really understand what acting was. Like, we just knew that we were supposed to say words. But anyways, my mother and father walk up after the play. And the first thing they say to me in front of all my friends is, "Are we your mother and father?" I felt like my face grow red. It was super bad. Like, I was so embarrassed. And if I was the age that I am now, the thing I probably would have been thinking was, what the fuck, Mom and Dad? You know you are. Why are you doing this to me in front of my friends? So, yeah, that was my first time being publicly embarrassed. My first time owning an actual dress. I don't mean a hand-me-down. I don't mean something that was just given to me. I mean something that was bought specifically for me and was, it's a dress. Okay, my first time owning a dress was actually for my mother and the man who adopted me's wedding. And that was when I was 6 years old. It was this bright, like, purple color, like, almost like a lilac. And like these poofy shoulders, it's just like, it was adorable because I was a flower girl, I guess, but it was also like super poofy and like uncomfortable, and it made your arms like sit like this. So, that was my first dress. My first time wearing makeup. Like, this means wearing makeup and putting it on myself. Like, I was the one who did it, nobody else put it on me. My first time putting on makeup was my 8th grade year. My parents had this rule where, like, my older sister was like a test run, and they had seen what she had done with makeup, and they had automatically decided, based on what my sister did, I wasn't allowed to wear makeup until I was at least in high school. So of course I tried makeup my 8th grade year because it was like, oh my gosh, I'm an adult now. I just graduated 8th grade. And I'm just like, they can't tell me what to do. I'm gonna wear makeup, and it's gonna be my choice. And I put on this makeup, and I was super excited. Like, I put on, like, tons of eyeliners, like, down to here, and it's, like, foundation that's totally the wrong color, and it's just, like, kicked onto my face. And of course, my parents would choose to walk in at just that moment. And I was grounded for like a month and a half. It wasn't worth it. I didn't look good. It felt weird because there was way too much on my face. And then I got grounded. So, it sucked. So, I did not have a good experience my first time putting on makeup, but that's okay, I guess. Okay, awkward thing. This is an awkward first, but let's face it, every girl, you have had this happen or will have this happen. So, let's just deal with it. My first period. I'm only putting this in here because it was really awkward for me because I got it way before anybody else I knew. I actually got my first period when I was like 11 years old. I was like in 5th or 6th grade. And I remember my 2-year-old older sister, like she was 2 years older than me, so she was 13 at this time. I remember she was so mad because I had it before her. And all I could think is there something wrong with me if I have it and my older sister doesn't? So I just spent the whole time freaking out and like crying because I thought I was like dying. So yeah, my first period. There you go. Sorry guys, that just made you feel awkward. Girls, I might have made you feel awkward, but let's face it, it's a part of life. You have to deal with it. Sorry. Alright. Okay, my last first. This is actually broken into 2 parts because it can be categorized into 2 different parts, I guess. It's my first party. This is in 2 parts because there's your first party just ever, and then there's your first party like with like friends and you're doing stuff that you shouldn't be doing, but you're doing it anyways. Alright, my first party ever was in kindergarten. It was my friend Becca. She's exactly a year older than me, but with a couple days like spaced in between because her birthday's like the 18th and mine's the 15th of August. And I remember we all went to her house and it was just the girls because, you know, boys had cuties at that point. And we walked downstairs and there were these huge cookies like everywhere, like that big. And they're like these like, you know, the squeezy things like icing that you just like squeeze on stuff. That was everywhere too. There was like tons of colors. And Becca, she walks down because she's a birthday girl and she's like got a princess crown or whatever. She says, "All right, guys, today we're gonna be decorating cookies." And then literally, we spent the whole time just like spraying each other with icing and eating it because we were 5 years old. Well, I was 4, but whatever. All right, my first time going to a party where we officially did things that we should not have done, and I don't recommend doing it because let's face it, you can get in a lot of trouble for doing this. I think it was last year, my junior year of high school. Oh no, it was this year actually. Last year I went to the party, but I didn't do anything wasn't supposed to do, so I can't really count that. My first time ever going to a party where I did stuff I knew I wasn't supposed to do, but I did it anyways, because, you know, we're seniors, you know. We're adults. Okay, well, the thing is, you know, all my friends are drunk, and then everybody decides, oh, hey, let's go skinny dipping. And at that point, our party, it was all girls. But, of course, being in a neighborhood, it's like the rich kid neighborhood, of course there are guys around too. We go to a friend's pool, and all my friends are just like, guys, you want to skinny dip with us? And of course the guys were excited because we're like seniors in high school. That's like, there's only one thing I can think about, right? And of course I was the only person who wasn't really drunk, and I pretty much spent the whole time swimming around a pool full of naked people trying to get everybody to put back on their swimming stuff. So yeah, that was my first party. Alright, that was my list of firsts. If you guys enjoyed this video, maybe I can make another one if you guys give me enough good feedback. I'll make my first part 2. If you like this, please like, subscribe, and comment. And yeah, bye guys.